I'm sure I'm not the only Ravens fan that hopes that the cap space that was cleared up on Wednesday by cutting Tavon Young and choosing not to, tender any offer to restricted free agent Chris Westry, indicates that they're going to go after Tyrann Mathieu. There can be no one else that I can think of that's reliable, versatile, has a lot of passion for the game, and athleticism to boot. But the biggest part that I see is just the intelligence level and the awareness that he's displayed. I'm going to show, I think, 11 or 12 plays of film from 2020 and 2021. Going to show a little bit of the bad, not really as it relates to Tyrann Mathieu, to be honest with you. Bad in terms of the Chiefs' defense. I can only imagine someone who has demonstrated as high a level of play as he has, how badly he probably wants to get out of Kansas City. I know that sounds crazy because the Chiefs have been in 4 consecutive AFC title games, but that defense was historically bad for 40% of the season in 2021 and doesn't really show signs of getting a whole lot better. They do have a tendency to be really bad early and then improve as the season goes on. But in any case, the defense is clearly what has held them back. We'll see what happens in free agency. I think he's clearly indicated he's going to test free agency. Baltimore seems like a natural landing place, if you ask me. Let's get to the film, check it out, and give you guys an opportunity to let me know in the comment section what you see and how accurate you think my film breakdown is. So this first play, he's spot shadowed up at the top. He's going to play strong safety / force. So what I mean is you got the motion guy coming through, and Mathieu has spun down here. It's going to be a run play to the side. He doesn't make the play. He doesn't make the tackle, but he makes the play. He takes on the block, not by the guy in motion, but by someone else. He takes on the block and sets everything inside. Now there is another DB here to make the tackle, unblocked. Tyrann Mathieu can play free safety. He can play strong safety. Here's his feet right here. He can play strong safety. He can play nickel. He could probably play corner if you asked him to. He's taking on Keenan Allen, who's a pretty good receiver, getting some extension, keeping his eyes looking back here where the ball carrier is. Again, he doesn't make the tackle, but he's part of making the play by stringing this thing out, forcing it inside. He's good at everything they ask him to do, period. He's good at everything they ask him to do. Empty formation against the Ravens in week 2. He's going to be responsible for guarding Sammy Watkins. We all know Sammy Watkins falls down on this little stop route, and the ball is slightly overthrown, maybe, but it's only overthrown necessarily because Sammy Watkins fell down, and Tyrann Mathieu is dangerous once he gets the ball in his hands, takes it back to the house. We know he had 2 interceptions that game. I'm going to show you the second one later on, too. Just being in the right place at the right time is sometimes good enough to get the job done when the ball is tipped or when a receiver falls down. In this case, Tyrann Mathieu's instincts, his discipline, awareness means he's almost always in the right place at the right time in terms of coverage. Chiefs used him all over the field in the years that he's been there. I think he presents option 1A for the Ravens to go after in free agency if he's interested in coming to Baltimore. Half-field safety look now. This is going to be another interception. And watch what he does on this vertical by Marquise Brown. First of all, we're giving him some information here about what's not going to happen. He's not going to get, a slant by Patrick Ricard. He's not going to, maybe he's going to get a little out or something like that. But he knows that he's not going to be threatened deep, so watch his eyes. He's already looking across the field at Brown. Lamar doesn't see him at all. Lamar thinks he sees some type of cover 2 where the backer's got to run underneath Marquise Brown, so he's thinking that this guy's going to be held by this backside route. He's not held by this backside route at all. He's just left him uncovered. He's not responsible for the flats there, the curl flat there anyway. Ball just seems to stick to his hands. Been a playmaker, obviously, since LSU and prior to that. Never going to change. 7 guys in the box. Tyrann Mathieu is not one of them. Lamar just kind of doesn't get any view of him at all and throws the ball out in front of Marquise Brown, where theoretically Marquise Brown, could beat this linebacker there, but it's a poorly thrown ball, thrown too far to the left-hand side of the field, brings Tyrann Mathieu into play, makes a great catch, high point in the football. Again, looks like he's got stickum on his gloves, if you ask me. The ball just sticks there, doesn't move, doesn't roll, isn't altered at all. 2020 film late in the game against the Broncos. They're nursing a 6-point lead. He's going to do this lurk technique where he I think he knows something right now, similar to the play I just showed you. I think he knows that this tight end is not going out on a route. And what he's trying to do is make it look like you got man here, man by him, man here, and man here. He's trying to make the quarterback think that he's got man across the board with one safety deep, and you do not. What happens is they roll two safeties deep. It looks like a little cover two to me. And Tyrann Mathieu is so incredibly smart and aware. You're going to see from the end zone angle, he took a look at that other receiver, but he's trying to stay evenly spaced between these two receivers so he can react to either one of them. Watch him just continue to get depth, and now he's got his eyes. He knows what's happening. That was a clear out route here, and then a deeper in route. And Tyrann Mathieu from the other side of the field is able to lurk, pattern read on the other side of the field. He's a special player. He's a special player. There's dozens of players in the NFL who can make that play, but not necessarily at the time that he can do it, late in the game, nursing a lead, like I said. Also, too, when he's showing man-to-man here, and then Sorensen drops back to half-field safety, he drops back to the middle of the field. So this looks like cover two, where Tyrann Mathieu's expected to play that Mike linebacker-type role, where you got the high hole in between the two safeties. Incredible play. I don't know how you could not want a guy like this on your team. We're going to get to 12 plays here. This one is an interception where he, again, keeps good spacing between the two routes that are developing. You got an under route here he stays on top of, and he knows wherever there's an under, there's going to be something coming from the other side of the field. So look how high he stays on this. Now, he doesn't make a play that causes this ball to be tipped. This ball is caught, and then Sorensen or maybe the receiver just fumbles it away in any case, but because of his positioning, because he doesn't bite so heavy on this under route, he's available to make the play. And that's my point. Some of these situations, you have to make yourself available by being in good position, in good leverage in terms of your zone coverage. He's off screen here to the right. You don't see him right now. 87, Foster Moreau is going to make this in cut. And off screen to our right, Tyrann Mathieu is staying above that little underneath route by, I think that's Deshaun Jackson. Look how he's above it. If he's tight to this guy's hip, then when this ball is tipped, he's going to be too low, and he's not going to be able to make this play. He's always making himself available for these things to happen. So when the opportunity is there, he can take advantage of it. You have to put yourself in position to take advantage of these opportunities. I believe this is a fantastic play as the quarterback is flushed out of the pocket. 2020 film, I think. He is manned on this tight end. Initially just blankets the tight end completely. You can see great coverage there, totally blanketing the tight end. The pass rush has forced the quarterback out of the pocket. He's going to throw the ball up, and Tyrann Mathieu is able to flip his hips back, stay underneath of the tight end. That's what I like here. Stays underneath of him. He makes sure he doesn't end up on the top side and allow him an angle to catch the football because he is taller than Tyrann Mathieu. Just a fantastic football play. I've shown you 2 or 3 fantastic plays already. You should be convinced if you weren't already. You were probably convinced before you watched this film. All right, I believe a run play to his side out of 21 personnel. And now you're going to say at first, you're going to say, well, this doesn't look like a great play, coach, because the ball's on the 39, and it looks to me like it's a 7-yard gain. Here's Tyrann Mathieu battling. I think that's Tim Patrick, that big old wide receiver for the Broncos. It's a run play that ends up bouncing out outside. Tyrann Mathieu's the first guy to make contact. Matter of fact, the only guy to make contact that gets involved in the tackle. Let's track him taking on a blocker, and then I'm gonna get to the end zone view and show you something that's been indicative of Kansas City's defense for over 2.5 years. All right, end zone view. Watch this linebacker. There's a little counter step by this back, but then it's obvious where he's going, especially because this DN wrong arms the initial kick out block that he gets. This backer number 50, don't even know his name. He's doing nothing. He's playing no gap. He's in the same gap as this guy right here. Same gap. Now you can say, oh, coach, if he flies outside, this guy could cut it up. That's true. That's true. He possibly could. But we know how it works out. The way he plays it here. It gets wrong armed by Frank Clark. So he wrong arms, dips inside the pulling lineman. That means he's spilling it. This will linebacker should be folding over the top. Gap exchange. and he's not. Tyrann Mathieu has had to erase or make tackles on coverage mistakes for a long time in this defense. A couple of plays here that don't necessarily involve him um, in the coverage. He's playing middle, what I call middle of the field free safety, even though he's not in the middle of the field because there's the ball. But it's man coverage on this little clear out route by the X, and then the wheel sit by Marquise Brown, who is the guy in motion. Sorensen is going to try to cover him, and it's just poor coverage by him. People have avoided him, and I don't mean like they don't. Hey, they're not trying not to throw at him. I'm just saying there's a lot of times that the Kansas City defense has given up chunk plays, and Tyrann Mathieu is not a part of the coverage in terms of being targeted. So if that means people avoid him, so be it. They give up a lot of big plays. They do. Tyrann Mathieu does not. I think he wants to leave because the defense is so bad there. I really do. The defense is bad all the way around. Against the run, against the pass. Here's an over concept. Tyrann Mathieu's a middle of the field free safety. This tight end is going to initially run block, and then he's going to release on this over. You get clear out routes by these two guys. So let's watch Tyrann Mathieu stay on top of the one vertical, which he's got to do. He's the middle of the field free safety. He's got to provide help for this corner. You got an out-breaking route by this guy, so this other corner or DB's covering him. Not Tyrann Mathieu's job. Neither is this over route. That over route is getting over top of the linebackers. The linebackers could not play it worse. Sorensen's that linebacker, and I think it's number 53. That's the crazy thing about this defense. When you watch guys play things poorly, it's not always the same number. I mean, Sorensen gets a lot of flack, and yeah, he's had some mistakes, clear, obvious ones. This is going to be one of them. Watch what 53 does. Now, the Chargers are kind of trying to make it look like a screen to this side. So maybe that's the eye candy that pulls 53. But watch the incredible lack of awareness. He's looking for the ball. It's a great thing about the boot concept. The quarterback is back to you. Football's on the other side, so you can't see it, so you don't know. Trying to figure out the football. He couldn't tell if the quarterback had the ball, so now he's looking at the running back to see if it's going to be a screen coming back. Meanwhile, you've got the tight end running right by him. Sorensen's taking this underneath guy. 89 wide open. I mean, look at this. Complete lack of awareness. At least Sorensen's covering someone. You know, at least he's covering someone. But when you get this concept, I'm going to go back to the All-22. When you get this concept and you're flowing here, you're flowing here, you're flowing here, and you recognize that it's not run, it's play action, the first thing you got to do is turn your hips and get your head this way, looking for the over route so you can get underneath of it. Because you know the concept. It's going to be an over route coming back to the backside and a boot to the side by the quarterback. So your job as the as the linebacker, either three of them, is to get underneath of that over route that you know is coming. This is basic stuff. I mean, I've taught this to 12-year-olds before. Now that's happening very fast, so that's why these guys aren't reacting well. But 53's reaction is, if you ask me, is noticeably poor. He's out of the window. At least Sorensen is in the window. Anyway, Mathieu had to come off the deep coverage, come up and try to make the tackle on 89, which I believe is Jarrett Cook. All right, 2020 film. Again, this is a two-point conversion play. And the Chargers have just scored. I believe this is like 2 or 3 plays after the play I just showed you, but I might be wrong. So they're going to run this concept here. And the coverage is so poor on the other side that this angled hook route by, I think, Keenan Allen, his snag route, whatever, is going to be wide open. And there's a lot of pre-snap communication that's trying to happen here between the Chiefs defenders. Look, you got 2 guys that have gone with him here. Looks like a Sorensen's mistake again. I'm not sure, who knows what the coverage is, but man, there's a lot of breakdowns and then bad body language by Tyrann Mathieu afterwards. He looked really frustrated with this defense as those seasons went on, 2020 and 2021. They clearly could have gotten out of this 4-year stretch with 2 Super Bowls, if not 3. Definitely some pre-snap communication going on here and here. He's involved in it. Matthew's involved in it. Really, really noticeable. There's pre-snap communication going on, and then people still don't play things right. You got Keenan Allen wide open after these two both go with this shoot route that I had drawn up from the All-22. Hopefully you guys remember it because I know I talk a lot. Really difficult to imagine that Tyrann Mathieu feels like this is a good place for him to be. They clearly, I did state, they could have had more Super Bowls if their window's not closed by any means, but it's bad to look at some of this stuff and imagine that you got a guy like Tyrann Mathieu play, and Chris Jones too, super high level guys playing on a defense that's that bad historically. Man on N'Keal Harry, I believe, for the Patriots. It's a pass interference call, but he's physical, great ball skills. It was called back for a pass interference, but it still demonstrates to you he's physical. He's not going to give up big plays. Great in coverage. Right here he's the receiver's got a two-way go, here or here. So initially Mathieu thought it was going to be here, so he's opening this way, so he gets hands on and he blocks him. All right, so it's pass interference. So what? Great ball skills. To me, still demonstrates what he's capable of. I think he would be a fantastic addition to this Ravens defense. So much so, I think he would be damn near transformative because of his ball skills, awareness, ability to get guys in the right place. I think the pre-snap communication with the Chiefs was really horrible. It's something that the Ravens need help with. I do not think that Tyrann Mathieu was the issue at all with that defense. The Ravens cleared up cap room with Tavon Young, cutting Tavon Young, deciding not to re-sign Chris Westry, and then Villanueva retiring. Look, I think this would be priority one. You let me know what you think in the comments section. Am I saying they should allocate every single dollar to him? No, not at all. Hopefully he's realistic about the salary that he could command and where he wants to go to try to win a Super Bowl. Because if he's overpaid, and I mean overpaid like, in terms of the salary cap, then that inhibits or restricts what you can do across the rest of the roster. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you're as excited about this possibility as I am, I've been trying to push as much content through here as possible that was Ravens related, but this one is free agency related, which I probably got to move to a little bit to draw a little bit more interest. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you haven't considered it already, consider checking out my Patreon, where I have all this film stored and housed, and all this breakdown data that you see up here helps people find plays and concepts more quickly. My Patreon's $5 a month. If you've at all considered it, just join for the first month, see if you like it, and if you don't, then drop it through the Patreon service. That's no problem. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think in the comment section, please.